The Giants' CB2 battle is not a small camp storyline. It is the first real trust test of John Harbaugh's defense. That is the part nobody is paying attention to. Paulson Adebo may be sitting at CB1, but the other side is where this secondary can either stabilize or start leaking every Sunday. And in the Harbaugh era, that matters. Because this is not just about who starts opposite Adebo. This is about whether the Giants are finally done handing out comfort roles. That overlay is the whole episode. One open cornerback spot can change the entire defense. It affects coverage calls. It affects the pass rush. It affects safety help. It affects how aggressive Harbaugh can be. And when you add a rookie corner like Colton, an undrafted player pushing toward the roster, and a room that still has to prove itself, this becomes bigger than one position. This is where the new standard begins. Let's be honest about where things stand. The holes are clear, and this is where it gets real. The Giants do not have a fully settled cornerback room. Paulson Adebo being locked into CB1 does not erase the pressure. It creates the next question. Who plays across from him? That question is dangerous because offenses are ruthless. They do not attack your favorite player. They attack your weakest answer. If CB2 is shaky, that side gets tested over and over again. The Giants cannot hide that forever. The second problem is trust. A defense can have talent and still be fragile if the coaches do not know which corner can survive outside. If Harbaugh has to constantly protect one side with safety help, the entire structure changes. The pass rush gets less freedom. The safeties get stretched. The linebackers get stressed underneath. And suddenly, one open corner spot becomes a full defensive problem. That is why this battle matters right now. The Giants cannot walk into the season hoping somebody figures it out. Hope is not coverage. Hope is not leverage. Hope is not a plan. They need someone to take the job, not borrow it, not survive by default. Take it. The third problem is status. The Giants have been too comfortable in past roster cycles with players being penciled into roles because they were drafted, signed, or familiar. That cannot be the standard anymore. If Harbaugh is serious, the corner room has to feel pressure. Every rep has to count. Every missed assignment has to matter. Every young player has to know there is a path upward. Every veteran has to know there is a path downward. And that brings us to the battle brewing behind Adebo. The headline is clear. The Giants have a cornerback position battle brewing, and the CB2 spot is wide open. That is not background noise. That is not filler content for the dead part of the offseason. That is a real defensive question with real weight. Paulson Adebo is viewed as CB1, but the brief makes clear that even that foundation is barely comfortable. That phrase matters. Barely comfortable means there is no luxury here. It means the Giants are not sitting on a secondary that already feels solved. It means the first chair may be assigned, but the room still has pressure everywhere. That overlay matters because it shows the exact tension. One role has a leader, the next role has a fight, and the fight might decide how flexible this defense can be. If the Giants find a dependable CB2, Harbaugh can call the game with more confidence. He can be more aggressive. He can trust matchups. He can let the front attack without constantly worrying about one side breaking down. If they do not find that answer, everything becomes more cautious. That is the emotional translation. A weak CB2 does not just give up catches. A weak CB2 makes the whole defense smaller. It limits the menu. It steals aggression. It forces coaches to compensate. And Harbaugh was not brought here to build a defense that lives scared. He was brought here to build one that dictates. That is why I love this battle, even if it makes fans uncomfortable. Because comfort is the enemy of progress. The Giants should not be pretending the secondary is finished. They should be forcing the issue. Who can hold up outside? Who can handle pressure? Who can play with physicality? Who can make the staff believe? That is the question. And this is where the philosophy becomes clear. The CB2 job should not go to the safest name. It should go to the most trustworthy player. There is a difference. Safe names keep coaches from getting criticized in May. Trustworthy players help you win in December. And if the Giants are serious about changing the identity of this franchise, they have to choose trust over comfort. Now here is the piece that ties everything together. This same pressure is not just happening at corner. It is showing up at the bottom of the roster too. The CB2 battle is about earning trust. The undrafted free agent story shows that same principle from the other end of the roster. A Giants undrafted free agent was tabbed as the most likely to make the 53-man roster, despite a crowded position group. That number matters because the 53-man roster is where summer hype either becomes real or disappears. It means a player is not just a camp body. It means someone could force the Giants to make a real decision. And that connects directly to the cornerback battle. Because if the bottom of the roster is open to pressure, the starting lineup has to be open to pressure too. That is the new standard. No protected spots. No decorative competition. No depth chart written in ink before the pads even come on. This is where Harbaugh can change the culture without giving a speech. He just has to let competition breathe. If an undrafted player can push through a crowded position group, then every player in the building gets the message. Your role is not safe because people recognize your name. Your role is safe when your play makes the coaches trust you. That is the reset this franchise needed. And for the secondary, it matters even more. Because defensive back rooms are built on confidence. If coaches believe the best players are truly playing, the room buys in. If players think roles are political, the room gets soft. The G-men cannot afford soft. Not now. Not with Harbaugh trying to build something more physical, more demanding, and more honest. The undrafted roster push also tells us something important about timing. This is not a battle that starts in September. It starts now. It starts in meetings. It starts in individual drills. It starts when coaches see who learns fast and who keeps repeating the same mistake. That is why the CB2 job has to be treated like a live competition from the beginning. And when you combine that with Colton Hood's background, this cornerback room gets even more interesting. The Colton Hood story is the proof that this competition has teeth. Hood has been learning from Peterson dating back many years. That matters. Not because it guarantees anything. Not because it hands him the job. But because it gives him a developmental background that is more interesting than a typical rookie trying to survive camp. That overlay matters because Peterson is not just a random mentor name. For a young corner, learning from someone with that kind of reputation gives you a different foundation. It can sharpen your eyes. It can sharpen your patience. It can teach you how to prepare like a pro before you are fully trusted like one. Again, do not twist this. Colton Hood has not won the CB2 job. He has not been handed anything. And he should not be handed anything. But he absolutely can make the room uncomfortable. That is the point. A rookie does not need to be perfect to apply pressure. He needs to be good enough that veterans feel him coming. He needs to be prepared enough that coaches keep watching. He needs to be competitive enough that the depth chart stops feeling settled. And when you connect the dots, Hood becomes one of the most important pressure pieces in this story. Adebo is the lead corner. CB2 is open. An undrafted player is pushing toward the roster. Hood has been learning from Peterson for years. That is not a coincidence. That is a room being forced to prove itself. And if Hood makes the coaches believe early, the Giants' secondary conversation changes fast. Hot take. Colton Hood should get a real shot to win the CB2 job, not just rookie development reps. And I am not backing down from that. My prediction is specific. Hood will be one of the top 3 most discussed defensive backs in Giants camp. That matters because camp buzz is not everything, but repeated attention usually means a player is forcing the staff to notice. If I am wrong, I will come back to this video and own it. But I do not think I am wrong. Here is the divisive part. If the experienced options cannot separate, Harbaugh should not be afraid to elevate the rookie faster than fans expect. Do not talk about competition and then protect comfort. Do not preach accountability and then hide behind seniority. If Hood earns it, play him. If he does not, make him wait. But the decision has to be based on trust, not age. Giants fans may argue about that, and good. This is the kind of argument serious teams should have. Big Blue is entering a proof era, and the CB2 battle is where the secondary has to earn belief. That is the identity statement. Adebo matters. The open corner spot matters. The undrafted roster push matters. Colton Hood learning from Peterson matters. This is all one story. The Giants are done assuming rooms are fine. Harbaugh is forcing proof. So Giants fans, pick a side. Should the Giants trust an experienced corner opposite Adebo, or let Colton Hood push hard for that job right away? And be honest, do you want the safe answer, or the player who actually earns it? If you are riding with the New York Football Giants through every roster battle, depth chart fight, and Harbaugh decision, you know where that subscribe button is. This is how a tougher team gets built. Go Big Blue.